What's up guys, Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today we are talking about the 10 things that we absolutely love about the all-new 2021 Ford Bronco. Before we go any further in the video, I do want to let you know that Town & Country TC Customs is giving away a brand new 2021 Ford Bronco Sport, and with the help of TC Customs, we're completely tricking this thing out before we give it away to you. Now, to enter, pretty simple, just go to tccustoms.com. Every hat or every shirt or even any products that you buy for your vehicle goes for automatic extra entries into that giveaway. So what are you waiting for? Hit those links up down below. Now, these 10 things that we love about the Bronco are not in any specific order, but let's just go ahead and jump into the first one, and that is going to be the value proposition. This particular vehicle has a starting MSRP of $28,500 for the two-door big version of the Bronco. And if you wanted to up to the highest trim level as far as the off-road capability, that's going to be the Badlands, and it starts at $42,095. So all the way around, you've got a Bronco that is in anybody's specific price point. And that's one thing that I love, is that it's affordable to the masses, but you can also spec this thing all the way up if that's something you decide you want to do. Next up, let's talk about the suspension. So the independent front suspension is going to be something that I absolutely love about the Bronco. At first I was, the Jeep Wrangler's got a solid axle, and an independent front suspension is not going to really be able to articulate quite like a solid front axle. But I'll tell you, after spending a lot of time in the Bronco up in Tennessee, also in Michigan, I've had a lot of seat time and a lot of passenger seat time in the new Bronco, and I am so excited to tell you that that independent front suspension does a really good job of soaking up some terrible roads, on the street, but it's also fantastic off-roading. As you've probably already seen, we went to the Ford Bronco off-rodeo event in Texas, and so it really did a good job of handling there as well. So really, Ford has done a good job of handling the suspension and making sure that the independent front suspension is a good blend between on and off-road ability. Next up is going to be the stabilizer disconnect. Now, this is a really cool feature because it allows you to keep that stabilizer connected for when you're on road, but when you're off-road, if you have a Badlands or a First Edition, you simply hit the button on the hero switches right there on the dashboard, and it will disconnect that stabilizer bar in the front, allowing for more articulation of that suspension. Now, the reason that I like this particular setup more so than the Jeep Wrangler version is because Ford, their setup is based off of magnets, and it can actually be disconnected while the vehicle is flexed out. So while it's flexed out and you realize, I need a little more articulation, you hit that button and then the suspension will settle even further, allowing for more of that traction. And so Ford's ability to do that under load is a very, very key component in that stabilizer disconnect. And also the benefit is when you start going above 20 miles an hour, that system automatically will reconnect itself to make sure that you're not going to get in a situation where you're going to roll over. So it's pretty cool. Ford's done a lot of thought on that stabilizer disconnect. Next up is going to be the engine. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys that are talking about, I wish they would have put a V8 in this Bronco. I'm with you there. I get it. I like the sound of a V8. I've got a Raptor and it's got a 3.5 EcoBoost and it's never going to sound like a V8. I get that. I love the sound of a V8. But this 2.7 is ridiculous. I mean, we've ridden in a 2.7 with the Sasquatch. We've ridden in a 2.7 without the Sasquatch. I've driven a 2.7 without the Sasquatch. We've had a lot of seat time with the 2.7 and also the 2.3. The 2.3 is a good motor. You can feel a little bit of difference in the power, but that 2.7 surprised me at how peppy that thing feels when it's on the road. You hit the gas and it's got plenty enough power, as you can see right there with the horsepower and the torque numbers right there on the screen. It is fantastically implemented, and if you go with the Sasquatch package, you get 4.7 gear ratios in the front and rear, and I'm telling you, that kind of gear reduction made it to the 10-speed automatic transmission. There is no lack of power in this 2.7 engine. The next thing that I love about the new Bronco is going to be the size. I think Ford has hit the nail on the head. Some of the early renderings, people were guessing that this was going to be similar to like a full-size Bronco back from the 90s era. I've got a white 95 Bronco as well, and a lot of people were thinking it was going to look kind of like that. Well, I'm so glad now that I've had seat time in the Bronco to say that they have hit the nail on the head when it comes to the size. It's easy to park. It's easy to get in and out of tight places as far as off-roading is concerned. It's not so small that I can't take my whole family on a vacation in it. I think they really did a good job of balancing the off-road ability, because sometimes when a vehicle's shorter or it's smaller, your breakover angles are not as bad and things like that. Well, I think they did a good job of balancing this between someone that can drive this every day for their family and then also someone that is going to be hardcore off-roading in it. They've got a little bit of a balance between the both. So the size, in my opinion, is absolutely perfect. Next up, let's talk about the 35-inch tires. So if you didn't know, you can get a Sasquatch package, and that Sasquatch package basically comes with 35s. I'm rounding up, and that's what everybody in the industry is doing. It's a 315 something something something. I'll put it right there on the screen for you guys, but it is nearly a 35-inch tire, and as far as I'm concerned, that is the only vehicle in its class that offers 35s right there from the factory. I think it's pretty cool that Ford has given us that option, and I've actually opted my particular Bronco with that Sasquatch package as well, and I think a lot of you guys have as well, because really there's kind of a supply-demand issue with the Sasquatch package. If you got a Sasquatch package on your options, it might actually cause a little bit of a delay, but keep in mind all of that changes as the production of the new Bronco ramps up. The next thing that I absolutely love about the Bronco is going to be the technology. Now, we just recently went to Dearborn, Michigan, and spent some time driving the new Bronco. And when we did that, our rental car that they gave us, well, it first off was going to be a Jeep Wrangler, but the Jeep Wrangler's starter was broken. So we ended up having to go with a Dodge Durango. But when I got in that Dodge Durango, I didn't realize how much farther forward Ford's technology is compared to some of the other manufacturers that are out there, meaning like the big three, FCA, Ford, and Chevrolet. When you compare that Dodge Durango's technology and that infotainment system compared to what the Bronco offers, which I know it's very different classes, but whatever, the Bronco offers a 12-inch LCD touchscreen that has got kind of a picture in a picture, if you will. It's got side panels over here on this side, so that way you can have a main screen that showcases your navigation and where you are, and then off to the side you can have all of your radio information, or you can change that information to whatever you want to. The technology is absolutely fantastic. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay. Depending on how the vehicle is optioned, you even have the ability to go with a wireless phone charger, a Qi wireless charger, right there in the center console. Ford has really stepped up their game with the technology on this new Bronco. We also have another video that is going to talk about the 10 things that I hate about the new Bronco. But I want to move on into the next thing that I love, because we're going to stay on the love for this particular video, and that is going to be the doors. Now, everybody knows that you can take the doors off of a Jeep Wrangler, and it's great that they have that ability. But the beautiful thing about the Bronco is that the doors that come off, they're not framed, meaning there's not a frame around the actual window. The reason that's a benefit to you is if you roll the window down to take the doors off, it is a smaller, more compact setup. And the fact is it's a lot easier to take these doors off of the Bronco than it is the Jeep. It's literally 2 bolts, put your door bags on it, lift it up, and guess what? You've got the door off. It's pretty simple. I mean, I've done it myself, and you're going to really enjoy that experience of taking those doors on and off. And that if you've got a 4-door version, you even have the ability to store those doors in the cargo area of the vehicle. So that's a huge win as far as I'm concerned. And in addition to that, I forgot one thing, is that the actual mirrors themselves are mounted to the vehicle, not to the door. And so for that reason, when you take the doors off, you still have the ability of seeing what's behind you. It's something the Jeep Wrangler can't say at this current time. Another thing that I love about the Bronco, and really Ford is pumped up about it because they're talking about it a lot, and that is the modularity of the new Bronco. So the cool part is you can simply remove or swap out the fender flares if that's something you want to do with no hand tools. You also have the ability to, as I mentioned earlier, take the doors off. You also have the ability to take off the fenders if you want to, just like one tool, one hand tool. It's pretty cool. And in addition to that, you can even swap out the grill. So if you don't like the carbonized front grill, you can take it out, sand it, paint it, plop it back in there. You can even pop the letters that say Bronco off of that grill, sand those and reinstall them. Sand them, repaint them, and reinstall them. It's awesome that Ford has given us the ability to kind of put this thing together like Legos, which it allows people to do a lot of custom work from their garage. I think it's genius. Next up, let's talk about the roof. For 2021, you can order it with a molded in color, carbonized gray, hardtop. Now, what's cool about that hardtop is that it comes off in sections and pieces that you really can do yourself. On the front two passengers, the front two seats, it's two separate panels that you literally undo it with your hands, no tools required. You pop off one panel, go to the other side, pop off the other panel. You can throw them in the back, do whatever you want to, but it literally is something you can do very, very quickly by yourself. And you even can remove that second row panel if that's something that you want to do, also with absolutely no hand tools. Now, the clamshell cover in the back, that does require a hand tool, and I think maybe 8 to 12 bolts somewhere in there, but it comes off very, very easily, and it is nice that they give you that, once again, modularity, but I think it's really smart design as far as that roof is considered. And just as kind of a bonus, they threw in a free sound deadening headliner on the underside of that actual hardtop. Now let's talk about a bonus round, and that is going to be the marine grade vinyl. This is going to be the unsung hero in my opinion. The leather looks fantastic, the cloth looks great, don't have any quorums there, but I think it is absolutely awesome that Ford has given us a marine grade vinyl. Once again, another class exclusive to my knowledge, that you literally can hose out the seats themselves and don't have to worry about getting an electrical components wet or dirty or damaged or anything like that. Now, you want to keep the hose away from the dashboard and the electronics and things like that, but they're saying that if something splashes up, that a lot of that stuff is actually sealed off a little bit to help increase the water resistance. And so it's fantastic. And they even also have drain plugs down below that are designed to let that water flow right out underneath the Bronco. So there you go. Those are 10 plus things that we absolutely love about the new 2021 Bronco. If you're new around here, make sure you consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you have any questions or comments, obviously you guys can leave us those comments down there. We do our best to read every one of those comments. But the biggest thing is, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. It does go a long, long way in helping the YouTube algorithm promote this information to people who actually need this information. And so if you found any helpful tips or tricks or just found any entertainment, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. It really does go a long way, and we appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.